It's Friday, March 4th. The ground is shaking in the local area. I'm watching the only news medium that the state and federal allow. I mean, it's the rabbit ear stations, so it's the first, whatever. It's CBS Mornings on Channel 2. I'm trying to stay consistent, so if the message is wrong, someone from Runs the World can come in and clear up the message. So they have a story on this morning in New York City. The moon, by the way, 7 nights in a row has been missing in New York. It says New York City. It says CBS this morning. And this story, it's a writer of a book, to paraphrase. He says that I did not read his book, again, in whatever I'm going through environmentally. Reading and retaining information is very difficult at this point. So he says that he wrote a book as a cautionary tale. And then within the first few months, he started receiving fan mail, and it became almost like an instruction manual, almost like it took off with legs of its own, which is why, for myself, I try to just do like a brief whatever of whatever I did, but because of the way the English language is drawn, DRAWN, with symbols, and with the way words have been contorted and travel, it was just easier to do a small video to show visually, but also to protect myself against those words being contorted in manners and fashions that they certainly should not, based on what the humans have done.
Best-selling author Michael Lewis thought he could shock and ultimately shake up Wall Street with a book he released in 1989. It was called Liar's Poker. Now, an original essay for CBS Mornings filmed at the old Federal Reserve Bank building in San Francisco, Lewis looks back on that first book of his and the unexpected response he got.
That sound...
In the first few months, I had maybe...
That sound, Lewis, sounds like my father's name, Lewis. This Lewis is a surname and spelled differently.
Maybe 1,000 letters.
But the word pattern sounds the same.
Mainly young men saying, "I love your book, dude. I'm now totally stoked to go work on Wall Street. You got any more tips on how I can get in?" What I thought of as a cautionary tale became an instruction manual. That's when I learned that writers simply write books. Readers decide what the words mean. At the time, I thought that liars...
It's true. Monday on CBS Mornings, hear more from Lewis on why it was difficult to revisit Liar's Poker.
Now, this is interesting, because if this is their interpretation of Wall Street did not look like that in the 1980s. This is all of this new money and new investment into really dangerous new habits that the humans are using and doing, to ignore the real danger, which, like I wrote yesterday, is this growing and migrating problem of Philadelphia. In my life frame, they said, and I don't remember where I've heard it, but I've heard a human mention that there was a naval ship back in some day, when the Navy or some form of military was trying to do cloaking of ships and things. They hit this one ship called the Philadelphia, and they started moving around the ship. People were moving around in the ship, and then all of a sudden, they stopped the test, and there were men, actually, or there were, whatever, humans, caught in between the walls of this ship. Well, that's an interesting articulation of a story. And then there's that Philadelphia Club in the Links, which is everything domestic terrorist that's been raising itself really innocently enough, or so it would look, but its power in numbers is growing at a alarming rate inside of the television that they're reporting and in local area. The city mostly at this point, kind of the head of the fish is whatever. I'm where the eye would be. Again, I don't even know, like, there's ziggurats. It's like there was a structure that was built in, how was the Giza Plateau and all these really ancient places. What was the purpose, right? Yeah, got that. Sacred geometry. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.